Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of High on Paranormal in conjunction with Echo. Um, you want to know something funny? I was just talking for about 5 minutes thinking I was recording. I was not recording. So, yay. Should give you an idea. Based on the sound that you may be hearing right now, like the wind blowing, that's because that is the wind blowing. I am actually sitting outside in my porch. In my front porch. It's a beautiful night. It's about 66 degrees Fahrenheit or about 19 degrees Celsius or so. I I needed a moment. And I've been dragging and putting off even recording this update because there's so much truly going on. From, I don't know if I mentioned any of this before, but basically, from opening my wife's shop for full body wax last year in October to we were still dealing with construction and whatnot because the owner of the building said that he was in good terms with the town inspector and, we should be good with the walls we wanted to put up. We opened the store, no problems, and then the town inspector came in and said, nope, that's not going to fly. So I had to put joists, insulation, 3 layers of drywall on 900 square feet, and a few other things. And so it has been taking forever because obviously I still have to work. We still got the house to take care of, family to take care of, and so many other things, trying to do with her podcast. And she still has to work. And well, we finally made it to the 3rd layer of drywall. And the owner of the building wanted this other guy who apparently is supposed to be some kind of professional that makes it look so beautiful to do the front half of the building for the last layer of drywall mudding. Not light and drywall, just mudding, just the tape and mud. Anybody that does that knows that about 400 square feet of it, you should be able to do it in a day, 2 at most. It's been a week. And he's not close to being done yet. He just done the center of the ceiling, not the edges or anything like that, or the corners or nothing. I mean, it's just, Jesus Christ. If I had long hair again, I would be pulling it by now. And so, to that, you add, having my work and family and everything else. So, with that, also all the changes with PKDK. We've finally been able to put enough time into it to get something going. Something like the website is up. It's not fully completed, fully finished, but it's up. It's able for people to contact us. Or at least when I'm going to introduce myself to somebody, I can actually send them to the website now somewhere that it's not like, it's going to be there. And so from there, let's see, I am thinking of what to really put into it, right? So, because the whole purpose is this is a public library. These are resources for anything and everything, not just on the genre that I like or that I want to focus on because it gives the most money. And since I want to seem like I really care, I'm going to put some of the links for resources and whatever. We're truly going to be putting resources for, right now, all kinds of things. I've been asking ChatGPT to help me set up some, and from housing to suicide to mental health to housing, information, just general things. And obviously, the more we can find later on can be added. People recommend local things, drug treatments, whatever the case would be. Seems like it's starting to rain. And so, hold on, where did I put my lighter? Here it is. And so, also trying to set up, oh shit, I do have to move. Let me pause this. Okay. I had to move away from the front porch because front deck. Oh, because it started to rain. just enough water to make me move, not to actually rain. So we have with the website itself, let's see, we have the resources, we have how to set up the contact us, how to set up for the library itself, how to connect it with all of our links for social media and stuff like that. And so, what else? Trying to think. Oh, it would also be, I'm thinking of posting the actual contract on the website itself for everybody to see it. So it's nothing being hidden, nothing being. I met a couple of people today that may be interested in working or collaborating. They like the idea of the library, because many people think that you just want to take their listeners or their something, and that's not the case. The case is more of this is a public library. This is not a Barnes and Nobles. It's not for profit, although it requires money to run. But many peoples outside of the US and in developed countries don't have the $3, $5 or anything like that to start anything and have a voice. Just by not being in the US or certain countries, you don't get access even to those apps. So if I can help provide a voice to people who don't have that voice or even access to that voice, and even if they had the access, they wouldn't have the money to pay for it, you shouldn't have to pay to have a voice. So while at the Hispanic Heritage Month today, at the Hall of Justice, I was interpreting there, and the person that he was doing producing the online stuff for it, he's very interested, so he might be helping out. I also been talking to some other people about lending their voice to act and read and stuff like that, which they're interested. But again, it's people who works 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and this is something that it would be fun, it would be a passion to do, but life responsibilities comes first. I have not been able to upload episodes aside from all of that because it is extremely hard to find the right episodes. Because I'm not just searching, but it's, oh, go to Reddit, find stories. Yes, I try that. I did a few episodes on it. It's fun. It's interesting. You can find some good stuff there. But I don't feel like going searching as such. At least not at this point. And that's because the big ones, right? The ones that are going to provide the most information. Little and big ones also provide information. But it's like you can have a whole bunch of $5 winnings, $10 winnings, $15, $20, $100 lottery winnings. But to have that, I won 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, $1 million jackpot and prices. That's the kind of paranormal experiences that I'm looking for. And the ones that I found, about 4 so far this year, that people just don't want to share them. They don't want to talk about it, which is the right thing, actually. When situations are so strong like such, that you need somebody else to intervene and assist you, those who are in the know and those who don't just want to believe for the fun of it and want to, ooh, it's interesting and whatnot, let me provoke the spirit or whatever. Those who really believe, it's known kind of on the fact that you don't want to invite it more or give it any acknowledgement once you get rid of it. And many of them will not. This one girl who was, I would say, the best story to share experience with a possession, she went back, talked to the person who assisted her, and everything. And about 2 weeks later, she came back and said, "No, sorry, not gonna happen." Because as much as I would like to share it to help other people, I didn't feel comfortable doing it, but I was going to, and my priest said that I shouldn't. I should just leave it as is. So I'm gonna leave it as is, and that's a lot of what happens. So on the other hand, until I'm able to maybe get people to submit stories of their own, which nobody has done one, but hey, we're still young. Um, I'm just going to focus on the other aspect I wanted to show of the paranormal and whatnot, which is the historical side of upstate New York, until somebody else submits about other places. Let me explain. Upstate New York has so much history that you can spit randomly some ground and you're going to hit a historic spot. And so, Rochester in particular, for those who are fans of the Fox sisters, it's the jewel for the Fox sisters because we are 45 minutes from Hydesville, or what it used to be Hydesville. It's now right by Newark, New York, in Wayne County. 45 minutes of Rochester. And the sister of the Fox, the older sister, whatever, was living here. Now, I was able to find the addresses of where their current locations are, of where their places that used to be back then, but with the current locations. So it should be like, it's not this one, but this is where it stood. That of their house, of the sister's house here in where they moved temporarily with their older sister in Rochester, and the church that they created, and the obelisk created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle as a homage to them. So, I'm going to go over there too, take a few pictures, stuff like that. But the most awesome of them all, I think, is I'm going to go to their house, to the Fox sisters' house. I mean, I've been there a few times from the outside because it's right by one of the many places that I got to go to work. But I was finally able to get a hold of Tracy. Tracy, unfortunately, she has had some tough luck the last few years, which has caused for her not to really be able to take part of the tours and stuff like that, or the museum and such. But she's back at it, and she agreed to meet with me on the 8th of October. Right now we are at September 25th. And so she agreed to give me a tour and be able to, sorry, that was my paintball gun dropping out of the chair. And be able to just tell us the story of the Fox sisters. The true story as best known by the museum, by the person in charge to take care of their museum. Couldn't get any better than that. And so she also has another 4 museums, the small museums that she takes care of in the area. I'm going to see about those as well within the Wayne County Museum and other ones as well, such. And one thing most people don't know, not just on that, but then you add stuff like the Underground Railroad, right? That one, literally, there are so many locations over here. Like right in Syracuse, in front of the city court, between city and family court buildings, there is an old church. That church, before COVID, it was a Mexican restaurant. Last time I was there, delicious food. Now it's not a restaurant, but it's something else. And with that one, I literally, it's one of those spots, one of those stops for the railroad. And there are many more around here. And so the Lady in White, so many Lady in Whites, the Durant Eastman Park Lady in White. I'm going to be going and making an episode about that one. I tried that a couple of times, but it just, again, I'm not in it to kind of like record it. In this moment, I'm more focused on setting everything up to get people the ability to record themselves. But all of those things I'm working on it for the episodes. Then we're working on creating new episodes for new shows, like El Cuadro by Nelson Galway, Killers Inc. by Biz LaChance. And so the idea is to take those books, make them each chapter into an episode, put some sound effects into it, and make it immersive, not as boring as a regular audiobook. So for that, I'm trying to see how to reach out to the RIT students, the Rochester Institute of Technology students, and U of R, University of Rochester students for arts and cinema, and see if they would like to take part on that kind of stuff. Which then brings me to more work on construction, because now I have to build I'm taking down my grow rooms in the basement. I had 3 grow rooms, and now I'm making 1 grow room and keeping it, and the other 2 are going to be taken down and refurbished into, or rebuilt into, a recording studio and in my office. I don't have an office at home right now, except in the dining room. All of those things, obviously take a lot of time, a lot of effort, but I'm very excited because he's setting up the foundation for the library. He's being able to make sure that I get familiar with the products. I'm talking to this other person with Sanders, Dale Sanders, and the idea would be for him to produce some of the shows and stuff like that, that we want to be able to work as part of the team itself. Trying to figure out how to set up a store on the website, but not something that for me to run, but something accessible to the creators itself. So if a creator wants to be able to have an online store, we get access to ours without charging them anything for it. Or without charging anything like most people will do I was thinking not charging to the creator and just adding like a 10% to the price that the purchaser itself will pay, but I don't know. The idea would be for another avenue for the person to make more money themselves. And so all those things are just overwhelming and at the same time exciting. Because now, for the first time ever, I have a part-time employee for my interpreting business. And my wife is trying to teach her all of this stuff because I know how to interpret. I'm not a linguist, I'm an interpreter. And I don't know a damn thing how to do QuickBooks and any of that. So this girl, Christina, she's freaking brilliant, and she's able to train amazingly for interpreting and for the business side of it. I'm very happy. So hopefully that would also clear up some time for me to do this. Having Jennifer's shop being closer to done will free up more time. Having to finish up some of the work I had to do at home, like re-weatherizing some of my basement walls. And so, I don't know. Plus, I was sick like a dog for like 3 weeks, but can't really get sick. The most I was able to take time off was 3 days of no working, cancel everything. I didn't do any lawn or work around the house or anything like that. All I did was watch, hang out with my baby while Jennifer worked and do laundry. So I literally didn't really get to do anything. But holy cow, I am exhausted. This time I actually remembered to put in the other cable for my headset, and this one has a Bluetooth, like I'm not a Bluetooth, a mute button. So like I'm gonna count to 5, 1, 2, 4, 5, and you see like it's so much smoother. You haven't noticed that I've been coughing, or I hope you haven't been noticing. Now this cough might be just from smoking. So, with all that said, I was actually gonna plan on reading a couple of stories from Reddit or something like that, but this is a problem. I don't like to just go scrolling through Reddit, looking at the stories just to put something online to try to entertain you. Not with the paranormal. Because with the paranormal, it can't just be find a story to post and make sure you got constant content. It will happen. I want to do that. I'm working on finding somebody else to be able to read just creepypasta stories and stuff like that, so that at least we can have something to entertain all the time. 2-sentence stories or something like that, and then be able to do that one in English and Spanish, so that we can at least have that constant content. And so, yeah, I think that's all I got. I mean, let me see. Why did I mention echo at first, at the beginning of this whole thing? That's because, well, we don't listen to advice or to what anybody else has to say unless we're ready to listen to it, whether it's to our parents, our kids, our uncles, or whatever the case. And in this case, I guess I want to take advantage I can record it all for later and have friends and family listen to it whenever the hell they're ready to it. In this case, my kid. My son keeps telling me, Dad, that was just a joke I made. Can you stop life listening to me all the time? There's time for it and times there's not. And I always say, but what if I die tomorrow? I'm not going to have time to tell you again, and you're never going to know. So I try to shove it on his brain. But he's not paying attention to it, so he's not going to take. So, echo. Talk to myself. Have those conversations that I normally have. I haven't recorded nothing really, because except this is a second episode, because I'm trying to be more professional about it, not so much background noise, blah blah blah. Today I'm breaking that rule, and tomorrow if I get my way again, I'm actually gonna just not get my way again, but I'm actually just gonna say, you know what, screw it, I'm doing it this way, and I'm gonna just be, when I'm driving, I'm gonna have to just put on my headphones and put on my things, just like everything else, legally, safely. Keep in mind, I do drive about 35,000 miles a year. And so, be able to share my points. The only problem that I have with that is that you're going to be hearing in the background from being in the road. But then again, that's me thinking, my mind goes into, well, but other people might all of a sudden hear it or listen to it, like with High on Paranormal. I didn't really expect people to listen to more than one episode. I expected people to just, nope, bye, and never heard the second episode. But some people are crazy enough that they do listen to all of the few episodes I put up. So I worry that, damn it, they're not going to really enjoy it as much. But then I remember as well, who gives a crap? This is just for me and my kids. The good quality shows are going to come up later. This is just me ranting. This is just me, like, the echo show. It would be just me when my wife says, Carlos, can you stop nagging people with your political post on Facebook so much? Like, I'm pretty sure everybody must have you blocked already just because of how annoying you are with it. So I got one telling me about my annoyance with political shit and my rants and all the crazy stuff that I post on Facebook. Then I got my kid telling me that I life lesson too much. And at the end of the day, there's also one thing else. I we all talk to ourselves, right? We all explore our own mind, and sometimes we just bounce ideas of our own. And so, why not again? At the very least, I can show my son whether the right way, the wrong way, or the half-ass way of how to get to some critical thinking, how to, whether I may get to the right conclusion or not, at least try to get to the correct solution or conclusion. So not just accept what it is, how to do growth, how to grow as a person, right? Because we all talk about growth, but how do you grow? So I'm thinking that if I have these conversations that I normally have in the car by myself, because that's the thing. When you drive 35,000 miles a year and you spend anywhere between 1 to 4 hours in the car a day while you're working, and you're supposed to be working an office job, so that gives you an idea. I'm an interpreter. I'm not a tractor trailer driver or anything like that. I don't drive for a living as delivery, as any of that stuff. So it's a lot of mileage. And that gives me a lot of free time to think, to reason, to whatever the case. Be angry. And by the time I get home, which is usually when I plan on doing these episodes, where I can be quiet, where I can just relax. Even right now, I don't know what kind of quality sound is coming out, but even right now, and when I record the Spanish version later on, which I usually just gonna, put headphones on myself and interpret myself so that I don't just ramble on about other shit. And then I have two completely episodes that are supposed to be the same. And so when I put on the headphones and interpret and stuff, I'm going to be saying, oh, this rain and oh, this thing. But I don't know. But, sorry, disconnected for a moment. I don't know what kind of background sounds is going to be at that moment. So, just to give an idea. So, there's all that with, now it's starting to rain again. With how that quality may or may not come out. But that's just because it's my personal stash that I'm just opening up to the world. Because on the hopes that maybe help somebody else. Because maybe on the hopes somebody else comes up with an idea and say, you know what, let me reach out to this pastor and see if he will go for it. And I may. I don't know. I was listening to things, reading the other day how YouTube provides 55% of the profits, makes it the largest profit sharing per year with the revenue out in platforms. They ask them that why not cut it to like 25% and still be the highest paying platform out there from its revenue. Well, because they want to provide for people whatever and whatnot. And it all sounds good, but they got so many damn restrictions, right? I'm not very versed on on YouTube. But you gotta have this minimum amount of followers, you gotta have this minimum amount of downloads or plays, and this minimum this and this minimum that before. So they get to already start building up on your shit before you do. And then some podcast players are doing the same thing. Now you gotta build up this many downloads or followers before you can get anything or any monetization. Then I started I started with, which I still use, Spreaker. And Spreaker allows monetization right away. Great, but not enough, right? So let's do the subscription. Everybody subscribes, okay, one per show. Nah, let's do the whole thing for $3. Doesn't matter how many we get later. So now you have for the listener itself, whether we later on ended up having 100,000 shows or 1,000 shows or 100 shows, it's all for $3 a month. And it may not be 55% like YouTube, but it is a 50% profit sharing between creator and us. And then again, we have the insurance where if you, for some reason, if you give us the rights to play your shows indefinitely, and you sell out to somebody else, or some reason the business, the podcast loses ownership passes from your ownership to somebody else, they don't get a cent of whatever money the podcast still plays from PKDK. They don't get to remove it from PKDK, and they get exclusivity, like they get to play it first. I'll play it a week later or two, but you as the creator, you still retain some ownership, even if somebody else takes it away from you. And so maybe somebody else tricked you into selling it to them without really knowing that you were selling it to them. You still covered if you sign that option. It's not something forced that people have to do. Again, the point is, with me, your thing is your thing, not mine. And I don't know. It's like I keep saying, the Barnes and Nobles and the public library, they both need money to run. One is set up for profit. The other one is set up for education, for entertainment, for helping the community grow. And that's what I have in mind. So I believe this has the potential and will be the next Noiser, Amazon of podcasting. Believe it, because when you believe in people's view, when you can't tell an artist what to create, but if you give the tools for the artist to create whatever they feel that they can create, as long as they respect other people's life and such, then guess what? I think you're gonna bank, because passion leads to creativity, and that passion leads to always giving your best, and that leads to success. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this off because at this point I'm just rambling around. I think the weed is hitting good, which I'm pretty disappointed with that shit, because finally after 3 years I started growing my weed again, and I think I screwed it up. I think I stomped the bitches. But, oh well. Anyway, I am so tired. I'm gonna cut this off here today, and maybe I'll record the Spanish version tomorrow. I'm gonna see if I can at least upload this one today, or maybe I'll do it tomorrow. God damn it! You see, this is what happens. Tomorrow I got like 2 hours in between jobs, so I'm gonna upload them tomorrow. So record them. I'm gonna record the second episode in the morning, and then I'm gonna upload them in the afternoon, and that should be ready. There we go. That should be then an episode for High on Paranormal, Elevado on Paranormal, and I can actually upload Echo tonight. So I'll upload Echo tonight, and I'm gonna call this Randomness. All right. Have a good night, everyone.